The 8th of January 2020, Bitcoin's making a tiny 1-2-3 top formation on the hourly time frame with a negative cross on the Bollinger Bands. It's coming up to the top of the cloud on the daily time frame, while it's at the mean reversion sell area in the 12-hour time frame of the Bollinger Bands. If you've been looking for a logical way to coordinate all of these indicators with a sensible trading plan, you are not alone. That's what this entire stream is for, is to collect this as a long-term case study and come to moments like we have today, where everything coalesces into a very specific trading signal. Let's see how this one plays out in the long term and dig into it now with your notepad open, because as we put this together, this is going to be a coordinated trading plan by the time you get finished this video. If that's the kind of content you've been looking for, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Let's start off with the weekly relative strength index. We can see that we had this big jump up here going on, really nice. And now what I want to see is, are we at a similar situation to what we were here as we came back, consolidated a bit and jumped up? Have we made all of that move now that we did here? Is that what we're going to get out of this? Is this where it's going to exhaust? Let's zoom in now to see if we're running out of steam. So we're moving into the daily time frame. Is it super overbought? Nah, it seems like it could go quite a bit more. So that doesn't really do it. I still see a lot of momentum build up in here. It may waver, it may pull back and go for the next wave up yet. So that doesn't do it. Let's go into the 12-hour time frame. It's not going to tell me much different yet. It may tell me when we're going to come back, but I still think that if it stops above these levels and hesitates, that's going to be the next wave up. So those are the targets for me. It's not whether or not it's going to go up now. It seems like we've got the structure here. We need to come back and retest it maybe. And let's go into the closer time frames to see if we're pulling back right now. I hear the selling in the background. Pretty overbought on the 4-hour time frame, but yeah, pretty overbought on the 4-hour time frame. This is up there. That's in some of the really good extremes. How about the 1-hour time frame? This may tell us more. Oh, hey, look at this divergence setting up. So this is pretty clear, and I did a video on this last night, but now it's even more clear. So actually, I got to post this in our Discord chat. If you are not part of our Discord chat, then you're missing out on this kind of update throughout the day as the market continues, especially for everything to do with BTC. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Not much more we can find out in the 15-minute time frame, except that this divergence is still hanging out here. And for me, since, well, you know, right? You know, it's a 1, 2, 3 formation. This kind of consolidation where it's retested and failing while we have a divergence. Let's go to the next indicator. I like the volume, less selling volume going on here, but we haven't come over to positive yet. In the daily time frame, we've got a little bit sticking up here, and it's nice. It's a nice flow of it. It's not a big spike. Now we'll see if it continues on. So here we have strength, and we don't have as much strength. We need to have this build up and blow away the volume that's going on here. We need to have sustained volume going on for a while before we're going to really get the juice. Look at the volume that went on here. We're not near it yet. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame. Okay, so it is strong, really a spike, but it didn't have the follow through. Here, it didn't have the follow through. Here, it doesn't have the follow through. So unless something sudden comes up, this doesn't look like it's got it. It needs a breath in yet. It needs to come back a little bit and get that surge in, it seems. 15 minutes, and we're getting this on a few different indicators, all setting up here, showing us this divergence in volume going on. This is a fun game. Now, but the momentum is really changing the other direction. So even though we may get a pull back now, this 1, 2, 3 bottom on the histograms here, while the weekly is coming back, giving us this monstrous double bottom or higher bottoms on the weekly. I gotta say, this is way in Carl Moon's territory where we're going off the charts here with this kind of consolidation and build up here. The momentum for this is historical. Crazy. Let's zoom in, because now we're zooming in to see if it's going to pull back a little bit. What can we do for entries? Because this cross and this flaring to the top side here is huge. This divergence is massive. That's an enormous momentum. So this has really proven itself out here. Right as the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation broke out, the exponential moving average crossed over on the 12-hour time frame. Really great. It's great to see it here. Now, what the question is to zoom in to see if we're running right out of steam at this moment, because this is dipping. We do see the histogram turning to a different color green, which I've set to be more dull, just so that as it's pulling back, it stands out more. Now let's zoom in to the 1-hour time frame, and this is where we get that crossover. We've got the histogram giving us more and more negative, yet it has not started to ease off and start to look like it's going positive here. So for me, from this moment feels like it's going to be pulling back. And let's take a minute to go through the Ichimoku Cloud. Right now we can see that the cloud is almost twisting to the negative. We're just coming up to retest the cloud from underneath. And this would be looking for the sell signal in the downtrend still on this weekly. So it could go sideways for quite a while and still be potential for a downtrend. Let's go into the daily. So this crossed to the positive here. We've got a twist to the positive now. The trailing indicator has cut through almost everything. We've come up and touched the cloud on the daily, and we've pulled back with a reversal wick. Of course, I'm looking for that sell signal now. And how does that manifest? We can see on the 1-hour time frame that we have those divergences. We can see on the Bollinger Bands that we have the mean reversion sell signal. The Ichimoku Cloud daily, we're up against the cloud here and giving us a reversal wick. The 12-hour time frame is decidedly bullish. This was a great breakout signal here. Now let's see if these are reversal wicks and these candles. Let's zoom in on the 4-hour time frame. I want to see what's going on here, but more, I'm watching the blue and the red now to be crossing back negative. This is what I've been watching for through this period, expecting a breakout and that it's going to top and come back from there. Let's continue to watch and zoom in on this in the 1-hour time frame, because this is where we see divergences in other places, but I don't see how to read this. Really, it's got the little 1, 2, 3 top formation. The other indicators for Ichimoku Cloud are saying just it's okay. The 15-minute time frame is a top formation coming into the cloud. We've twisted to the negative now. And the green and the blue are not distinguishable now until this breaks one way or another. But we do have some insight by looking at the cloud right there. The Bollinger Bands on the weekly time frame. So this is just about to cross above. We're coming right up to these areas. It could cross above, but it's got a set and stage. Let's zoom in to see what the other time frames are doing for this. Broken out of that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, really great. You would have your stop loss just above your entry now. You'd be sitting on your hands trying not to do anything with that part of your trade, with that strategy. On the other hand, it's coming way up out of the third standard deviation, which generally is a sell signal. Generally, it runs out of steam when it gets that far above the standard deviation. And that's what I'm studying all of these things together for. So we see the MACD crossing over. We saw the divergence in the relative strength index in the 1-hour time frame. Now on the daily, we see that we're outside the third standard deviation. On the 12-hour, we're in between the second and third standard deviation. This is the kind of stuff I want to put together. On the 12-hour, as we're coming up in between the second and third standard deviation, and the relative strength index is giving me a divergence on the 1-hour time frame, while the MACD is giving me a divergence on the 1-hour time frame, and the volume is giving me a divergence on the 1-hour time frame. I'm much more confident that my 12-hour Bollinger Band mean reversion sell signal is legitimate and I should be taking it. Then I could be enacting my risk control rules here. And we have a complete trading package all built out right in those last couple sentences. Just in this episode, it's been a year of daily analysis going through this stuff to put that kind of synopsis together for you. And I'm hoping that you guys find this kind of video transformational in the way you're approaching it. Go back, take notes on this, pause this video, write down those things that coordinate exactly this way, and then practice it. Of course, knowing about it is one thing. It's not enough. You have to practice it. You have to believe it, and you have to apply it. So the only way to apply it is to really put it to the test. 1 hour time frame. Now we're getting into where there's deviations in the other indicators. And what we're seeing here is it's just crossing the midline. So crossing the midline in the 1 hour Bollinger Band while we have a 1, 2, 3 top formation and all of those other divergences. I'm putting it all together in like a notebook to say, as this happens, what happens next? Tune in tomorrow. We'll find out. Maybe you recall, I did this chart earlier. I grabbed this piece of the chart and tagged it on here. And I grabbed this piece of the chart and tagged it on there. Look how this overlay set here and worked. Pretty good. Which would indicate that we've got another set up and then our sideways stuff. So we could pull back, retest those areas, and see this kind of sideways for a while. I'll leave this chart and we'll come back to it over time and see how this actually plays out. And so in summary, as prices are breaking down right now, we can see they're coming out of this 1, 2, 3 top formation. We see the negative divergence in our relative strength index. I was already pointing out the negative divergence here in the on-balance volume as this top formation was setting up. And as we started out the episode, we were emphasizing this crossover in the MACD indicator. When we match it in with the short time frame Ichimoku Cloud and the mean reversion sell signal on the 12-hour Bollinger Bands, we're really putting all this stuff together into a complete trading system. And I hope today's episode, the evidence of it playing out as we've gone through it and now we see it happening, I hope this has been something that you can take, you can rewind, you can watch this again, put these indicators together, because this is how it works. Your folks maybe said to you, money doesn't grow on trees, and you say, I know, it grows on charts. And you get to know how this orchestra plays, you get to know when to take your action, when to pull out of it, and this is it. Putting all of these indicators together and knowing how they play, when they play it, lets you be in the driver's seat. And so you're not watching this kind of video afterwards going, shit, if I only had this information beforehand, what a difference it would have made. Now, that's only part of the game. You know that you have to have risk control rules. You have to have your position sizes. You have to have your strategies. So this isn't complete trading advice for sure. It's just an observation of how these things have all come together according to our trading plan. If you want to learn more about this stuff, be sure to subscribe on the website. But more than that, come and join us on our Discord chat, because the conversation continues after the episode is done. All of these indicators are set up from my trading view to go over to a free alerts channel over on our Discord chat, so you can get notified when the MACD crosses something important, when the Ichimoku Cloud does something important, when the Bollinger Band does something important. All of those things come over to our Discord chat. You're not just pummeled with a whole bunch of useless stuff. There are things that really match the trading plan that we're studying here every single day. Now, I'm super honored to have you guys here. There are tons of great cryptocurrency trading channels out there, and you're here watching this one. So, super thumbs up for you. I wish I could push your thumbs up button. And I'll finish off with a clip about the bull market watch. This is the deep research about what is actually going on with the cryptocurrencies. And we can see here that they took an amazing hit here. The most important thing is that we now have information about which coins actually did something through this period and which coins didn't. And the evidence is clear which categories those coins fit into. So there is a specific 25% of the market, pretty much, maybe 30 or 40% of the market that are the markets that we want to pay attention to. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.